Hey! Sunday morning. I'm your host, Law Smith. Sitting here with me is my co-host, Caleb Fuddy.
Howdy.
I'm getting fired up. The show's picking up steam. We're getting good feedback, and our intro's about to kick in real quick, so I gotta just kind of curtail this. Hey, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to the Sweat Equity Podcast. I'm Law Smith. Caleb Fuddy. Say what's up so they know your voice.
What's going on, guys?
That's like radio speak, you know? Yeah. You gotta bring you in so you can designate whose voice is who. We got feedback that your voice is that of a lion's growl.
A lion's growl.
I like that.
I want to appreciate the nice man who texted me that.
He may have a crush on you.
That turned my day around.
That may have happened on Grindr. I don't know. So Sweat Equity Podcast is the podcast for realistic business advice for startups, local business. You have an idea, you don't know where to go with it. Small, medium business, kind of in that zone. Or maybe you've got a business that's successful, but you're a little stagnant. Maybe I always say content is kind of the worst word in business. You should always kind of have something that you're striving for to get better, or to get bigger, or to grow, or to make your life easier. You know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where do we want to go? We got to do a plug off the top.
Absolutely.
Since we don't have any advertisers yet, we are very much a zygote in our iTunes catalog, I would say, of episodes. I'm just going to give shout-outs for companies that our company, Tokubaga Consulting, has as clients. And now I got to think of one off the top of my head. We did Waterloo. We did Watson Kitchen, I think.
Well, I got one that I can talk about.
Okay, go for it.
Is David Alexander Jewelry.
Yeah, if you're in the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're in the Tampa Bay area, I recently got engaged after a 13-year wait to muster up enough nuts to do so. Mm-hmm. And I went around to a bunch of different places. A lot of the bigger stores here in Tampa that they advertise all this. All the fancy stuff where they'll give you wine while you shop for your jewelry and champagne, and it's like you don't need that. What I needed was someone who was going to get up at 8:30 a.m. on a Sunday and meet me for 4 hours while I asked him every elementary school based question on diamonds and jewelry, because I had no knowledge other than what I'd heard on the Big Timers' first album. Or Master P. That was really all I knew about diamonds. So kind of went in there with a really minuscule knowledge of what I was getting into.
So, but the community aspect of this, we'll get back to a little bit more businessy, not make this plug too rambling. I could see you going down that route.
You guys don't want to hear about my proposal?
I also got my wife's engagement ring setting, because it was a family ring. I got it adjusted at this wholesale.
Costco?
Wholesale jeweler, David Alexander.
Oh, I thought you meant wholesale.
So what they do is they'll cut out most of the middleman, but you can't cut it out completely. I know there's sites like Blue Nile and stuff like that.
Yep.
They'll sit with you one-on-one and kind of decide what you want. And if they don't have it in stock, they will figure out how to get it for you, procure it for you.
Yeah.
Because it is, like you're saying, kind of as you're rambling about how you were rambling when you were looking for a ring, that there is so many variables, and so especially dudes don't know anything about rings for the most part, unless you are Soulja Slim or that's a deep cut.
I wanted the Cash Money emblem when I was in middle school so bad, but I didn't know where to go.
Thank God.
And I could have called David Alexander the whole time.
Thank God you didn't have enough money. But I'll weave this back into local business kind of talk, because you were able to kind of talk to them about our company. Mm-hmm. Hey, you should talk to these guys about doing some web design. By the time this episode airs, it'll be up. So if you want to go to, I think the URL will be dagtampa.com, and they, we've been working with them on that. what you find out when you are trying to build a company is good work will beget good work, and it's all intertwined. Like I forgot that I got my wife's engagement setting there because my mom did it, but I didn't know that they're really tied into my insurance agent, who's a family friend of ours that I've been using my whole life. They've got ties in the area.
Is it Mike with State Farm?
Well, it's his boss, but yeah, it is Mike.
Jim?
Yeah.
Okay, that's who we use too.
Yeah, Jim Cornwell.
It's all small world down here.
Top 5 agent in the State Farm system.
I didn't know that, but I'm glad I'm with him.
Look, I think I'm losing people. Anytime I hear insurance or mortgage, I zone out.
Yeah,
so,
I do too. Let's get back to it.
So what we wanted to talk about was, I got an email asking for some advice, and if you want to email me for some advice, we'll talk about it on air. Or if you have something you're like, keep it on the hush, then you can bring it up later. Just let me know in the email. My email is law@tocoworks.com, TOCOWORKS.com. Email me there. I'll put Caleb on it as well. He's Caleb at Toco Works, and we'll if you have a business question you want, we'll bring it on the air. I'm sure my dickhead friends will do something like, hey, how many? I own a dildo factory, and I would like to do that. You know, I'll fucking answer that question. I don't care. So bring it. Whatever you got, bring it. I don't give a shit. So I had a friend of a friend of a friend. This is a third party. I've never even met this chick. And she has a local healthy kind of eatery, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And she's asking for advice. And as I'm writing her kind of advice on, you know, this kind of pertains to, you just started a restaurant, maybe you just started a bar, maybe you started a salon or a barbershop or auto repair place. You know, stuff that's just uniquely local. It's going to be hard to kind of grow, but right now you just want to focus on this basically. Maybe you have maybe you're selling like. Maybe you're doing retail clothes or a coffee shop or something. So this is kind of advice for that area.
Yeah, and I think the main thing is just getting your name out there.
Right.
It is kind of the the premise of what you're trying to go off of. When you've got everything done, you've got your brick and mortar, you've got the storefront, but you just got to figure out, to get creative and get your name out there and to get people in the door, engaged on social media, and to kind of try to create that buzz around you. So I think that's the goal that she was looking for at this point.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post not the exact copy and paste email, but I'm going to put it on this episode description on tocoworks.com.
Okay.
And basically, here's my number one thing for local business. Flyers, don't do them. I mean, you can do them, but don't count on them, right?
Yeah, and there's there's like a general rule of thumb. I know, there's I've done social media for a company here who does music promotions. They promote shows at Tampa Theater and around the Tampa Bay area, and they want to flyer, everything. We'll make a flyer. We'll pass them out at all these bars and all these places where we think, this crowd or audience will be at. And I think it's just a waste of man hours and a waste of effort and energy. Minimal expense, but it's just not worth it. And when you expect 10% of your fly, like of what you pass out to come back and to actually like buy a ticket or lay eyes on your website or your show on social media, that payout is so small compared to what it takes and what you're going to pay somebody to pass those out in distribution. So I'm not a fan.
So yeah, one of the things I wrote to her, one of the tropes that a lot of small business owners, they'd never look at the results of what they've done, which is to say, I used a mailing list that had like a traditional mailing list that had 3,000 mailers go out. Okay. How many results did you get out of that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, how are we supposed to figure out if that's effective or not? Because I'm not going to totally bash flyers and mailing lists. You can't just do those.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, if you don't know the percentage of, mailers do work if you're if you're marketing a certain kind of business, but if we're talking
or if you're targeting a certain demographic.
Right. But if you're trying to get people to come through the door for a restaurant or a bar, this is I'm gonna have an aneurysm. I have so many things to say, but it's like I try to tell people don't think narcissistically, but in this case, in marketing, you kind of have to. Have you ever walked in? Have you received a mailer and then been like, "Oh, I should walk into this business"? Like,
yeah, it doesn't.
It's trash.
Happen. Yeah.
It gets caught up. Have you gotten a flyer on the street and you're like, "Oh, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go to this. This looks awesome."
Yeah.
Maybe 1 in 100, maybe. And we're more optimistic than most. I'd say in that direction.
Yeah, I would totally agree.
So I try to tell her there's you have to look at your results. Okay, you have a social media account. What you can get data on that. And I'm not talking like hard data, like that we got to do R squared correlation, between a confidence of 99% or something. I'm talking like just how many people did you reach with this Facebook post? 500? Yeah. How many people were engaged? 1? Okay.
I think we need to switch up the formula a little bit.
But maybe the picture should be better. Maybe the copy should be better on the post.
Maybe you should target different people.
But this is the biggest thing that people don't fucking do is look back at go, hey, what are the results? And I mean, this spreads into the other departments of business, but it's like marketing especially because you're just kind of pissing in the wind and hoping shit happens.
Well, and I think what happens a lot of times with some of the, with these small businesses and when it's just either the owner of the business is doing everything or they do have a couple people on board helping out. It's more of, okay, I checked that box. I did that Facebook post. We launched our social media marketing campaign, if that's what they'll end up calling it, which is just a sponsored post. Mm-hmm. And as long as people are coming through the door, they're not going to look back at the statistics. But I think even when you're having success, it's equally as important as when you're having failures to look at those statistics and learn what works and what doesn't, because you need to keep setting that up for your future campaigns and for how you're going to attack things in the future. If you're having a lull in business, what do we need to go back to fall back on? Well, we don't have those analytics because I didn't care to look, or saving this data because people were still coming through the door. Right.
And look, you're not going to get 100% of your leads data.
There's no way.
Part of it, the online stuff I love because you can almost say one for one. That data is really specific and you can see how many people are engaged. You have to think of it a little bit anecdotally, and here's the other part I was going to get to is the marketing funnel. And it's kind of more this, for anybody that does online marketing, they kind of call it the content marketing funnel. It's been around before that. This is old school theory, but you're going to do about 14 to 20 different ways of promoting your business to get people to walk through the door. So I'll try to illustrate this because we don't have video set up yet, but think of a beer bong. Okay. Yeah. Everybody can relate on that. A big funnel with the tube going down, right?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So beer bong, you're putting the two beers you're putting in that beer bong. If you're like Caleb who can party, maybe used to. I don't know now.
Yeah. I don't know if I can do 2 in the beer bong now.
Oh, I was a total puss. I have no chug. I can't chug. I'll be like, I'm like, sorry guys, I'm sorry.
Ugly chug face.
Yeah. So, all right, think of the beer in the top of the funnel, right? Mm-hmm. Those are the 15 to 20 things you're gonna do, and I'll list I'll give some examples.
Right.
Mailers, flyers, social media posts, social media ads, different things.
Yep.
Email list, becoming part of the community. So community groups, Chamber of Commerce's kind of thing. Reaching out to your network, reaching out to your local community. Your network meaning your immediate family, your immediate network of people you would call to hang out.
Yeah.
That's what I consider that.
And even business to business partnerships as well.
Yep. And so you're going to do all that. That's all swing around in that bush light at the top, okay? All right? And then in the middle, right in the middle is kind of where it's kind of curved on this beer bong illustration. That's going to be how many people saw it to how many people are interested, right?
Right.
You basically have, let's say you have a scatter shot of, you have a reach of 100,000 people at the beginning of where the bush light is, towards the middle where you get a little burp action. That's going to be your leads, essentially. All right?
Okay.
Now, from middle of the funnel, the little tube, middle of the tube, to your mouth, right? That's leads to conversions. So how many people...
That's the tasty stuff right
there.
Yeah.
So how many people are you going to get from that middle that are interested to walk through the door, especially... And we're not even talking about like an Etsy store or anything because this gets a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. But how do you get the leads, the bubbles in the middle of that bush light, of that tube, into your gullet, which counts as a conversion? I hope this makes sense. It does in my head.
And I think it's you want to get that into the system, and once you're drunk, then you're making money. Then you're in it.
Yeah,
you're doing the happy dance.
Well, it's one of those things where you have to think about it as a funnel. Okay, so at the top, you've got a reach of 100,000. Yeah. You're gonna do all those things. You might get 100 more people through the door.
Well, and I think a good thing to note is it's almost not all of those things are going to work.
No.
But you still need to do them.
And trial and error.
Yeah. You still need to do them, especially if you're in the early phases. Don't count something out or discount something because you say, I don't think that's going to work.
Right.
Instead of 15, I'm going to do 10 or I'm going to do 8 or 5 because I know these will work. You don't know what's going to work. If you're in the beginning stages, you're going to be surprised at where a lot of your customers are going to come from. Mm-hmm. And when they walk in that door and you say, how'd you hear of us?
Yeah.
Or when they just tell you without even asking, you're going to be surprised how they heard of you. Because it's going to be in ways that you're going to say, oh, I forgot I did that.
And keep that data. Keep it like a fucking, those old guys that keep baseball scores for no reason since we've had them.
I do.
We've had electronic scorekeeping for 60 years?
Yeah. Pencil and paper, man.
Yeah, keep a grid, behind the counter or somewhere on you where you can just check off, okay, this person said this. Oh, this is interesting.
But not only that, also this is getting too in depth, but
no.
Keep track of what they spent.
Yeah.
Because if you're finding a correlation between the people who found you on Facebook and that they're spending more money than the people that found you from a newspaper ad or from just passing by and seeing your brick and mortar store, you need to know that.
Yeah.
That's something that you need to know so you can tailor your plan to that.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree, and it's one of those things where tailor it to that, see the correlation. Okay, the Facebook ads I'm making, by the way, start at Facebook ad. It's fucking it's the goddamn easiest thing to do, and you can do it for $5 just to see what it's like.
It's literally as easy as posting your status.
And people go, and if you give me this shit where people are like, well, man, no one's on Facebook anymore. Bullshit. Everybody still uses it. It's still the hub. Everything else is a spoke. Okay. And try it for $5. You need to try a bunch of shit before you figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to be a little bit of Google AdWords if you're more of an online retailer. Google AdWords might be your thing. If you're a niche product, like if you're women's dresses, you probably can't compete in that marketplace, but you can on Facebook. So $5 on Facebook, get a good post, target the people who already like it, which is your friends, and then out and their friends in the area.
And again, if you guys are kind of having questions on how to do these sort of things, and maybe you have never made an ad on Facebook, email us, like we said.
Well, first off, fuck that. Go to the help section. There's videos on how to do everything. I've taught myself everything online. There's someone out there that's willing to donate their time to show other people how to do stuff. We're going to be doing that for our YouTube channel a little bit. We're going to roll that out. Well, yeah, we got to get
don't email Law. Law doesn't want this email. Email me, Caleb@tokaworks.com. I'll go over it with you.
Sure, you do it. But
I'll be the one that takes that on.
I'm saying be curious. Because you don't want to be doing the work for for people necessarily.
No, but we can definitely have a further conversation
Sure.
of what it is you need to be doing. If someone said, well, I don't know my target age range, or I don't know this or that, we'll be able to help you with that. You should know that by now.
Right.
But
right.
there's
If you don't know that,
little
just quit.
nuances that we will be able to help you with.
So all right. So kind of breaking down, let's say you have a local business, you need promotion help. Let's kind of the way I kind of visualize and also compartmentalize everything is you have your online strategy and you have your offline strategy. Pretty simple,
Yeah.
right? Offline strategy, make sure your signage is there. Sign. If you're a coffee shop and you're not one of these fucking too snobby, kind of thing. We're going to be a speakeasy, but we don't have booze.
Yeah.
Kind of coffee shop. Fuck those, by the way. Signage. It's really dumb. People don't do it well. It does work if you have, especially if you're a local business that has neighborhood traffic.
Well, yeah, you're already paying for the space. You may as well put a billboard there, man. Put your sign up.
I can't get over how many people don't have signage that need it for something like a burger joint or a bar or something like that. People can't, if it's that repetitive nature, that's a lot of marketing is like they have to see it 8 to 10 times before they might walk in. You know how many times you've driven by and like, ooh, I'm going to check that place out one day. It's because you don't even know it, but you've driven by so many times and said that eventually you might just get curious enough to go in.
Yeah.
And so, all right, pretty basic shit, right?
Yeah.
Signage. Maybe a sandwich, the sandwich style chalkboard on the outside. If you're more of a food and bar kind of thing, or even if you're like a clothing retailer, any of that. Hey, specials, come in, give an incentive for everything. Always have an incentive. What's going on? Why should I walk in? Why should this chalkboard tell me to go in? Think of something witty too. You don't have to make your own jokes. You don't have to. This is the thing where you can go online and find witty things to put on your chalkboard.
And I think when you get witty with with the chalkboard ads and the A-frames that are outside and those kind of things, it creates a little more of a buzz. You may not get your perfect customer to walk in, but someone that sees that probably knows your perfect customer, and you want them to tell them about it.
Well, and it's going to describe your brand. It's going to describe, oh, this is really witty. I want to go in this bar.
Yeah.
This is really witty. I bet if they spend time doing this, it's subconscious, but a customer might think, oh, well, they spend the time to make the effort to have this chalkboard look pretty on the outside. I bet it's a clean place to eat. I bet they're, on top of their shit in the other part.
And that sounds kind of crazy on the exterior, but we're doing that a million times a second in our brain. We're making these assumptions and decisions, and that's how we pick. That's how we choose who gets our money and what we go find out more about.
All right, next is if you're in a strip area or you're in usually businesses are kind of coagulated together in a kind of neighborhood grid. Befriend the other local businesses.
Absolutely.
They're in the same position as you.
More.
You can learn a lot. Not only that, but you can also get some kind of intel on the situation of what's going on. Hey, did you hear the street is going to be fucked up on Saturday? Oh no, I didn't know that. All right, I got to prepare for that.
Yeah.
Because Saturday's our big day or something like that. So befriend the local businesses. Sharing that intelligence is going to be. It's going to be very valuable. It doesn't seem that way, and you don't think you should carve out time to do that because you're like, I gotta get people in here. Right? Nope, it's this is all this stuff we're talking about. You have to think about every day until you don't. Until you have someone that handles it for you, or
until you just have you have people calling you and coming in without having to advertise, unless you're Burns. I've never seen Burns advertise, because they don't need to.
Burns' Steakhouse, one of the best steakhouse in the country.
Absolutely.
I don't want to keep this
too local,
too Tampa, centric, but Burns is one of the best steakhouses. It kind of is the speakeasy steak place, but it is cool, and they do good service, and they don't need to advertise.
So unless you're the Burns or the creme de la creme of whatever it is you're doing, to where, hey, we don't need to advertise. We don't need to, I truly think if Nike never made another ad, I think their sales, yes, they would probably take a hit, but I think they would still be on top as far as being a sneaker and apparel retailer for sporting goods.
Other offline stuff, and this kind of dovetails off of Befriend, the other local businesses near you, is what I call being the mayor strategy.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be, every time you're out, you got to make sure you don't have to weave it into every conversation that you own a place, but you might have to. Like if you're struggling, you might have to figure out, like, every time you're out, that's kind of a marketing opportunity a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're going.
You are your brand at this point. With these small businesses, that's what you've got to understand.
Right.
You are your brand.
And look, sometimes when the real estate agent kind of is like giving you her shit while you're talking to her at a barbecue, you're like, okay. But it felt cheesy in the moment. She don't want to do it, but you may actually call her. I admire the hustle of someone that goes out of their way to really swallow their pride to go, hey man, why don't you stop in my place, check it out, I'll give you a free whatever. Mm-hmm. Or, why don't we talk? I'll sit down with you and I won't charge you for anything. Let's just talk about whatever. Mm-hmm. I think going out of your way to kind of do that. So being the mayor, donate to have your place donated charity time.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a big one.
So back in this email, I said, hey, what you should do, you've got a healthy niche. What you need to do is kind of find things that kind of orbit around that niche. Okay. Mm-hmm. So health foods. All right. Why don't you get all the yoga people in town to see if they have, like, not a union, but like maybe they have a group. I know they all know each other. Like comedians know each other. Yeah. It's weird. It's like they hop around to places, but what if you could have an area where they meet, once a month to go over how to make yoga better in the area, or it turns into some fuck fest because they're all like orgy people. But like do that, or find the weight loss. Find the closest like weight loss centers and see if they
give your food to charity instead of eating it.
Well, you can do that. Well, you can do that, but like you can have the Jenny Craig Points people.
Right.
They apparently part of that is like Alcoholics Anonymous, where if you're meeting and talking with other people about how they're doing stuff, it does kind of help, and you can keep each other accountable. So they do have like overeaters groups and stuff.
Right.
Have them come into your health foods place. That's where they meet. That's where the meeting goes on. You know, stuff like that. Where what else is orbiting around? Like, get the local college liberals union involved. I'm sure they love Stream Cheese Incident and shit. Like, tell them they can have their meetings there, and it may build up over time. Kind of. It's not gonna get you immediately too. That's the other part.
Well, I think a lot of things you see going on now that are on more of a social front are a lot of the running clubs, and you see all these bike gangs rolling around Tampa now, and I know that's kind of the cool thing to do in a lot of these metropolitan areas is, you start at a bar and you drink some beers and you ride your bike to another bar. That's the halfway point. And then you hit the third bar and then you hit your way back, and everyone's got little neon lights in their spokes and they're all dressed up goofy, and it's this big event, that they put on, but that helps drive business to those bars. And it also gives them content to post on their social media. It gives them, a way to make them look like, hey, things are happening here. This is a fun place to be, come down here and grab some beers here. And I think we keep using a lot of these bar examples because that's what we have a lot of experience with as consumers. So forgive us if we keep using the bar thing, but it's kind of an easy route to go.
Well, it's also pretty much everybody that will listen to this knows, is probably had bar economics in their head at some point. Yeah. That's why I like using that, or a restaurant. Also, they fail a lot. So and these are the reasons why, because they don't do some of these other things. There's a reason Bar Rescue will always have a bevy of people to choose from. Yeah, because it's a lot of people with ego can't get out of their own way. And this will bring it to the quote I like in a little bit. But offline tactics, signage, chalkboard, befriend the local businesses, be the mayor of your neighborhood, city. whatever, be out and about, be meeting people close to the area, proximity wise.
Yeah.
That matters. Like, okay, if you're meeting with people in a Chamber of Commerce 2 towns over, they might not step foot in the place.
Yeah, you may be a little too far out of your reach there.
So work within the 3-mile radius. If you're maybe you don't live in that area, but you have the business there, go out of your way to go eat at other places or go to other small businesses there just to chalk it up. That's what I would do. I've done it before. I go in and I meet my buddy, my Israeli buddy that would give me all the intel on what's going on in the area, and it was great. And he'd make me a badass gyro. And I was like, this guy's awesome. I love this guy.
It's all right by me.
And so we helped each other out because I'd be like, oh, did you know about this? And he'd be like, and that information is so valuable. It's very underrated that everybody doesn't think we talk as much as we should. Maybe that's true, but I don't know. To me, that seems like more of an opportunity for you to gain traction against people that don't talk anymore.
Yeah.
Online tactics. Social media, figure out a strategy for each kind of social media account.
Mm-hmm.
Your Twitter just shouldn't be posts from your Facebook page.
Right.
You may not. Most local businesses don't even need Twitter necessarily, because to be relevant, you have to do it about 7 to 10 times a day.
Yeah, and I think Twitter is it is the epitome of quantity over quality.
Mm-hmm.
It is so hard to have a quality Twitter post, regardless of what you're doing.
Yeah,
I mean it is so hard to even. I follow a lot of comedians on Twitter.
Yeah.
And even to have a quality joke that you're going to post, to have that in 140 characters, and to make sure that it's delivered right and that it's read right and taken the right way.
Right.
You're talking about a small percentage that are going to get the joke the way you're intending it to get. I mean, it's just so difficult on Twitter.
And also, Twitter's more. It's more
of an informative. It's more of a news line, honestly.
It's unbalanced, though. Facebook, you can have a million friends, but not be any kind of celebrity anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You could just be very social.
Yeah.
But with Twitter, it's more brand and celebrity heavy. So that's why people are like, well, I tweet all the time, and it's like, yeah, but it's hard to get traction if you're not kind of making waves somehow.
Well, and the same kind of holds true. I shouldn't say the same holds true, but it kind of backs up the point why Instagram has become so popular.
Yeah,
we're visually stimulated.
Yes.
If we read something, we've got to think about it too much. We've got to connect the dots, and if we can't do that in a couple of split seconds, we keep scrolling up.
Right.
With Instagram, we have something to look at. The photo can play off the caption. We can paint a better picture of what it is that we like about that or dislike, and we either make a decision to answer a call of action and find out more about what is going on in that post, i.e. a product or a service, or we'll keep scrolling.
Right.
And Facebook combines both of those worlds for us. Facebook, you can have a lot of different things, extended videos that are going to be longer than Instagram. I mean, it's the basic stuff that a lot of the people listening already know are the differences, but it's kind of... But
maybe not thought out.
Exactly. And why, and it just goes back to why Twitter is just not as effective, as Facebook and Instagram.
And I have to say this again, posting on social media is not an ad, okay? There's a difference. I've had this conversation with a lot of small business owners, and they go, well, we're advertising online. I'm like, well, what do you mean? What does that mean? And they go, well, we post something every day. And then also the quality of what you're posting. I can see some of this graphic design shit that looks like, when you get the... I think we've talked about it on this podcast. When you get I get it from my hard right Republican friends that somehow think I'm a super liberal because I don't hunt. But they send me chain emails still, and it's in Comic Sans font, and I can't take it seriously, so I just dismiss it immediately. It's like Obama wants this, blah blah blah, and it's like whatever the point is, I'm already lost because this looks like dog shit from the fucking 1993.
Yeah.
So. I see a lot of small businesses post the corniest fucking looking shit. Yeah. And I'm like, look, you don't have to fucking, this is even hard. Go look at it. Now I'm going to fucking lose it. Go look at someone that's doing the same local business in a different city, in a smart city. Go look at someone in Austin, Seattle, Portland, San Fran, Raleigh. Go look at what they're doing, see their social media strategy, copy the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
Well,
that's all. That's all any of this is just copying what you've seen work elsewhere. Bring it to where you are.
If there's a fucking healthy food place in Denver that I like, granola on the mountain or something like that, I'm gonna copy granola on the mountain's fucking. Okay, on Pinterest they put recipes. I don't know why, but they do. But it works.
Yeah.
On Instagram, they show behind the scenes of how their employees make the stuff. On Facebook, they do more promotion. Hey, mention this Facebook post, get 30% off anything over $10. So they have a different strategy for each of them instead of just going, oh, I've got a Hootsuite, and it just pushes out to all these things.
Yeah,
at
the
once.
same post,
the same message
to all platforms. And I also think that it's the quality of your post. And this, I wanted this to be a whole other episode, but it seems that we're diving pretty far in.
Yeah.
Because social media is such an enormous part of it. Needs to be such an enormous part of anyone's business.
Right. Can't be ignored.
No, it can't be ignored. You're on it anyways. What do you put it in front of these people? They're going to be there. So, I have a buddy of mine who created. He started with making. This is your typical college idea of taking empty liquor bottles and making lamps.
Oh God.
Okay,
yeah.
I think there's like one in every group.
Yeah.
That's like, do you want to buy this lamp? Look at this. This is all. It's a Captain Morgan lamp, bro. You love Captain Morgan. So he started with that.
He's one pair of Crocs away from being like a homeless guy.
Yeah.
You want to buy this lamp, bro?
Yeah. It's like no, I'm good. But he kind of I don't know how he went the other direction, but he started making organic soaps. He had acne. His brothers had acne, and what he did was he saw that nothing they were doing that their dermatologist recommended was working. So he said, "Screw it! I'm going to make my own natural remedy." And I mean, sure as shit, cleared up his face, his brothers' faces, and everyone at their high schools was like, "What are you doing? Like, how did you do this? Like, your face is crystal clear." So he started a soap company, and he's had this soap company probably for the last 5 or 6 years, and they've been making profit. It's still a small company, but they've gotten into Nordstrom. They've gotten into, I want to say they've gotten some products actually into Walmart as well.
Okay.
So they've started to crack this code a little bit and get some success, but his Facebook posts have been just brutal up until the last few years, and it started out as posting like smiley faces on Friday. To be like, thank God it's Friday. And it's like, that has nothing to do with your business. Are you a business that celebrates Friday? Is that what you sell?
Yeah.
Friday celebration? Nobody knows what you're doing. So make it relative. And that's kind of the point of me
scrub
rambling
your balls
on.
Friday. Clean your taint with this soap Friday.
That would be more beneficial than a smiley face.
CY clean your...
Hashtag it, man.
I can't even think of the acronym.
It's all right.
I had too many beers last night.
And so my point of this is that it's got to be quality posts, and they've got to be somewhat uniform. When you're posting on Instagram, you need to use the same filter or the same couple of filters with each post. When someone looks at your page as a whole, posts shouldn't look scattered like you just wanted to be artsy one day and then you were lazy as shit the next day.
Yep.
It needs to look uniform so that when they look at your whole page, there's almost a theme and a certain feeling they get when they see all of your photos.
Yep.
That's going to help make your brand identifiable.
Yeah.
Okay. When you have just shit scattered everywhere and you kind of go off the plan or off the trail and you're like, I'm going to post this picture of a puppy today. It's like, that doesn't do anything for anybody. Yes, people love puppies. Make a separate page if you like puppies that much.
And, we could do this for another. We'll do another whole podcast on a strategy, but this
is going to be more of a venting session, by the way.
No, this will be kind of basic stuff. I mean, this is
that people don't do. That I was going to say that takes 20 minutes a day to schedule posts on your social media, right? Yeah.
It's 20 minutes.
And if they need to go back to episode 2 to figure out how to find that time, hit episode 2.
Hit episode 2 up. And so it's one of those things where this takes 20 minutes a day. Put it in your iCal, put it in your Google Calendar. If you don't do that, if you're dumb and do the old school written calendar for whatever reason, I don't know why people still hold on to that, but okay. Write it in there.
Put in your Trapper Keeper.
Put it in your fucking, your Trapper Keeper, your Transformers Trapper Keeper. Put it in that shit. But I'm saying like that takes 20 minutes a day. It's free. It's fucking free.
Yeah.
That's what makes me mad.
Yeah.
And be curious. Okay. Again, like I was saying, find that other company that does it. Maybe they're even in your area and they're a couple towns over. Fucking look at what they're doing. I've told a couple of salons, hey, you need to be on Instagram. You need to show these pictures off, and you need to go hashtag whatever the city is that you're in.
Yeah.
Because chicks look that up. And they're like, oh, yeah, my friends, I do see my friends doing that. I'm like, how come you can't connect the dots that you see it in person and you don't go, oh, I need to spend 5 minutes a day.
And I think, and like I said, we'll get into this later, but I think people fail to see themselves as consumers a lot of times when they are starting these businesses. Sure. And that's, you've got to get back to.
You ain't special.
Yeah. You've got to get back to what would make me walk into my store? What would make me spend money here?
And then, another online thing you need to focus on is capturing reviews. Now, maybe Yelp and Angie's List have kind of pushed people out, pushed the small business owner out because they're trying to raise some money. Yeah. They got to pay for these big loans they have anyway. But I'm saying like, well, I mean that's what they're doing, and now it's biting them in the ass because they don't know what to do. So, maybe you're not going to do Yelp because you're going to get buried there. But Google and Facebook have their own reviews.
Does anyone leave a positive review on Yelp?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't use Yelp all that often, but I don't know that I've seen a positive review.
But you got to capture, man. You got to go, hey, with an email list. That's another thing. Get a MailChimp email list. It's free.
That's another episode in itself as well.
Right. Email's still more important than any of the online stuff we talked about. It starts with your network of people that are your immediate friends, the friends you would call up. Hey, would you hang out? You want to watch Tampa Bay Bucks lose today, or like you want to get something to eat at this snooty coffee shop that doesn't have a sign outside. That's what we call a callback in the business. Wink, wink.
That's a callback.
But I'm saying like get those customer reviews, geek them up because people do read those. Like, and you can do it by sending an email blast free on MailChimp, unless you have more than 2,000 emails, which I doubt. Most people don't.
Yeah.
And fucking put it out there and go, hey, could you help me out? If you've been to the place, give a review online. That would help. That helps immensely. Speaking of which, if you want to go on iTunes and give us a 5-star or give us a 1-star, I don't give a fuck. I want to get better. So if we're not doing it for you, let us know. We want to hear it. But give us a review online. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your family. That kind of stuff. I say that because that's how you kind of really start something that grows.
Yeah.
It's what I call the social PR ripple effect, basically.
Did you coin that?
It's not very concise, so I'm gonna have to think of a better name. But I'll think about it as like, think of it as throwing a rock in a pond, right? And it's the ripple. It really is the ripple. That first circle is your immediate friends and family. Mm-hmm. That outer one is acquaintances. Maybe you don't get to hang out as much or whatever, but you're still friendly.
But they still know you.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other is like the outer circle is maybe customers, maybe the people you met once, maybe a couple times. Maybe it's the dude you met at the Chamber of Commerce meeting you're in. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, but you're vaguely familiar with each other.
Yeah.
You need to hit those people up. That's how you're going to get people through the door. The whole thing for the local business, especially retail, is to get them through that threshold. What's going to get them through that doorway? How do you get them through there to put their fucking foot through that door? How are you going to do it? And are you going to think about it every day until you don't? You do it until you don't. Every day.
I think there's a lot more truth to that than a lot of people might realize.
So, and then we'll end it on if you could bring up that quote. I can't do 3 things at once.
I've got it right here.
I really love this quote by Aristotle. It is what did I say? We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. So, if you're repeatedly bitching about being out of shape, but you're not getting up and doing push-ups and sit-ups, the Herschel Walker workout,
then you're just a bitch.
Then you're not. Yeah, you're just a bitch complaining.
Yeah.
if you're,
that's all it is.
I got up, I've been there, and I was doing it, and I was like, oh my God, I'm becoming what I hate.
Yeah.
And I got up this morning, worked on the guns, on the pipes, went to the gym. It's one of those things where, hey, I don't need to get as fucked up as I've been getting Friday, Saturday nights, because ultimately I'm more bummed out when I'm not, feeling well.
Doing something.
Yeah.
Being able to be productive.
Being active.
Yeah.
We're primates, man. I got to get it. But that gym is the best example of that. Repeat, be good every day. You don't have to go Friday Night Lights and be perfect all the time, because I don't kind of agree with that. Just get better. Continuously improve is,
with clear eyes and love in your hearts.
Clear eyes, full hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we should end this episode with explosions in the sky. Your hand in mine. I don't know. I really love that quote. I really believe in it. Your Saturdays and Sundays aren't precious again, or your off days. There's no off days.
No.
I don't. Maybe I'll not work as much on a weekend, but I'm still putting in about 4 to 6 hours every day on this company until I don't have to, right?
Yeah.
You do it, you work your dick off, and if you're a lady, you work your labia off.
Yep.
Until
it's off.
Till you don't have to. Yeah. So, anything else?
I think we covered it. I'm excited to get into some of these next few episodes though, and touch a little more on some of this social media and on this mailing list. So stay tuned for that. I think that's going to be our next episode that we dig into here. But stay tuned. Keep a lookout.
All right. And we'll outro with a little explosions in the sky. Hope we don't get taken down off iTunes. I don't know how that works. Okay. Peace.